All right.
Okay, so welcome to our mediumship intro. Um, mediumship, you are invited to do mediumship because you have done channeling, and it's important to learn to channel first because, oh, sorry, my screen just disappeared. Um, important to learn mediumship. Sorry, important to learn channeling first because you do want to make sure that you know the difference between high realms and the lower realms. And also, when you're working with beings on the level of mediumship, there's different ways that mediums work. Some mediums are getting information, receiving information, and then about from those who have passed over and sending that message to the living. That's very common way, a very simple way that mediums work. You know, you are the medium, you are the messenger. Medium is the messenger. So I can't remember his name. That medium is the message. Anyway, the medium is the messenger. We are slightly different. We are working again from a bit of more of a shamanic perspective or more spiritual perspective, where we are both the messengers and the healers. And so we also want to help not just the living, but also those who have passed over to move into the light. And the ability to do that, even the ability to bring through messages from those who have passed over and give them in a way that's going to be helpful and healing will come so much more easily through you if you've learned to channel, because you want to be able to um, really, you'll have guidance there with you when you're working with those who have passed over, and they will recognize, because you're connected to a guide or to guides, you're going to have a different effect when you bring that message through, or you're going to be able to bring a message through that carries a lot more love, a lot more healing kind of information and really delivery. And again, it goes back to often to the energy behind the words that are there. So you will you'll be able to deliver, you know, some more healing information, and not just. And so people get kind of freaked out sometimes about the idea of talking to, you know, those who passed over. So people have a lot of concerns about learning to do the mediumship part, and it is different. It's um, so if you took like Philip, for example, my partner, my deceased partner Philip, he loved to work with the high guides, and his thing was not doing the mediumship. That was my thing. So I was much more the medium. I'd be the one who'd be connecting that way. But you know, it worked good. It worked well because the two of us could work together with people, because people need both. People need both the wisdom that comes from the high guides, but they also need to be able to connect with those who have passed over. For the most part, at least some point in their life will come to a place where that's going to be important to almost everyone, to have that connection, unless people have that innately happening inside of themselves. Otherwise, people want to have that, be able to do that, be able to connect that way. So in the class, I don't teach mediumship. Again, I teach it more like channeling. I'm not, I take it more into the energetic level when we connect. So you're connecting into the energies of these beings. You are also working with the angelic force, because there's angels that are really in charge here. And so with channeling, you went into the guides realm. So we went to work with guides. Guides aren't especially the beings who help those who are dead pass over, or those who are dead to be able to make their connections. So we call that the angelic realm, and it's slightly different. And we want to have them working with us, because they're the ones who are going to help people who have passed over to actually make that connection that they need to make to go to the other side. So um, when I work with people, so say today, for example, earlier, oh, geez, no. So in two different occasions in sessions that I did today, I had um, I had beings who had passed over show up and have messages. And for me, I mean, that's just important to be able to do, or else in a healing practice, there'd be a big chunk that would be left out that you wouldn't know how to deal with, or even what was going on there. Um, let's see, thinking about the people. The one person had two very important people that I was working with who had passed over. So for me, the energy shows up, or I can just get a name and I can connect to them and be able to bring their messages through. I don't start, we're not going to go. So many times people learning mediumship takes a very long time, and you're always looking for what they call sort of like the facts. You want to have the names, these numbers, important numbers, like the day of birth, um, a bunch of sort of empirical evidence of who it is. The way I work is connecting to the essence of that person, feeling into who they are, and letting that come through. That can evolve into other things, but it doesn't take years to learn that. It's very natural. And if you're doing any kind of healing work, you'll feel these presences around, and you may even kind of wonder who they are. And they're all over people's houses quite often if they're living in an old house. Um, it's important. I think it's just really important that we be able to know when there's beings there, and to be able to help them to pass over. And we'll be doing all those things in this class, helping you have an experience who of of beings, of what it's like to connect to beings. Um, it's very safe. We will set things up to make it very safe, and we always leave it in a good way. We don't, it's like we don't leave any ghosts behind. We never leave a spirit behind who's in trouble. We always help them pass over into the light. That's part of the commitment that I believe in, that I teach. So for me, if you connect with a soul, and that soul is stuck here, or is stuck in some sort of an unresolved relationship, I'm not done until that being is free. And so that's what we're working on, all these things over the course of the 4 days. And And it's sort of like channeling. You'll find that when you kind of get into it, you can understand it. It makes a lot of sense. So I'm open to questions here. If you give some questions, I can give some answers. I think I have maybe one question. Mario's alligator. That is pretty cute. I love Mario's alligator too. Okay, and you can unmute yourself to ask a question. So open to that. So please either chat it or unmute and ask.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, everybody. It's Megan.
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for doing this. One question I had, I have two questions. Number one is, how will this translate online? Because one of the things that I really appreciate about working this way with you in person is like being in the energy that you set in the room. I mean, does that energy set sort of translate into time and space, into my living room?
Yes, it does. We just did the channeling class. We
Yeah, I
can do it.
know. Okay.
So it worked.
Okay. Great. Great. Because I
Yes,
know that.
working up to it through the 9 day. Yeah, I've been working up towards it. I did the 9 day class, and then we did the channeling class. And yeah, it's amazing how energetically it actually happens. So,
Okay,
so
great. Thank
yes.
you. Thank you. Great.
Yeah.
The other quick question I had is like, I don't feel like I'm naturally skilled at channeling, and like everything, it probably takes practice. I
Mhm.
mean, is it something you can learn, or are you kind of chosen to do it? Like you were chosen in a way, right?
No,
No?
no,
So it's a skill you
no.
can learn?
Yes, absolutely. I was definitely not chosen. Yeah, I mean, that's I tell the story of how I was like a Helen Keller of those worlds. Like, I was doing I'd learned medical qigong, and part of that was you had to be able to do all this stuff. And it's like, I'm not gifted in that way. Other people can do that. And so I started, really working on that. I was doing some channeling, but that was, Philip was teaching me that. I learned it, I did it from scratch. I was definitely not chosen. It was definitely practice to open these things up. So yes, anyone can do it. And so I teach I teach it that way. I teach it so anyone can do it, especially us kinesthetic people who don't hear things and see things.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I took the channeling a long, long, long time ago. Is it important to have a refresher first, or is it okay to maybe start or go back into the mediumship?
That was last week.
No, but I didn't take it. Yeah,
I know
I
you
know, I
did.
know. I know, sorry. I know. Okay.
um,
I can't do everything. I'm sorry,
I'll
I
just say,
can't do.
why can't you do everything? Yes, you can. Um,
I don't have the money to take everything.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Well, and it's good to keep the possibility open. I appreciate that.
I know. I'll ask and I'll send you, if it's good for you to take it, I can ask. Because you've never taken this one. You've only taken the channeling.
Yeah, I took the channeling with you and Philip. That's how long ago it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will ask the guides and get back to you on that one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. Other questions? Did Esperanza, was there a question
Yeah.
you were going
Hi,
to ask?
Wendy. First of all, nice to see you.
Hi, Esperanza. Nice to see you.
So, okay. Well, first of all, one is I was intrigued about passing it to the light. So this is it a process that takes a long time, or or is quick process? Yeah, also because I like that idea of passing to the light, like
Yeah,
spirits.
I
Is it
consider that to be a really important part of this. And it really depends on the soul if it's a quick process or not. But it's a quick process as opposed to this is going to take, an hour or 2 hours or something. And it can be really quick if you're working, like I say, we work with angelic beings. So if you have angels working with you, it can make it faster. I remember when I first started doing it, I just had Archangel Michael there, and I could just say, "Oh," and then they would like go with Archangel Michael. I didn't have to worry about it. And then Archangel Michael said, "Now you have to start doing some work with this to get more understanding." So then the whole process slowed down. So it really depends on you, how you're worked with. There's no answer. That's for sure.
I see, but it's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's like kind of a formula kind of thing. Like it is a formula step process kind of thing. Or
Yes,
for
it's a step-by-step
yeah,
process, but it
the
can
process.
go different directions because people, souls are different. Souls are stuck for different reasons.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. But it's
Yes.
okay, okay, I see. And then, if I may, so for me, so as I was mentioning, so it's been like a lot. It's been opening a lot of my channels, which is a good thing. But also, at nighttime, I'm having hard times now. I'm having not good experiences. Since someone said it's dangerous if you go to the astral or whatever, and somebody said that, and I started having
That's
this
yeah,
fearful
because
kind of thing.
you
But
got
anyway,
you get some fear, and
like
that's the implanting
experiences.
of
So
fear. Someone implanted fear when they said it's dangerous. All of a sudden, that's an opening for other energies to come in
yeah, so
because it was said that it was dangerous. So you have to, be careful when people make comments like that.
right,
Not to
totally,
that
yeah.
that can just come right in.
And
So
is any
it's not
yeah.
dangerous. Fear is dangerous.
But I want to stop the fear. But is any way anything that to do that? Because again, my body's telling me I love to do that program, but at the same time, I'm having this thing that is like I'm having a hard time even sleeping now. So it's like, my goodness, I was really suffering. It's like somebody's like poking my hands and everything's like, what's going on? So it's very, very scary to me. So I don't know what's going on.
So you got some astral stuff that's going on there. That is very astral. Channeling is not on the astral plane. We don't go there. We go past the astral plane. So if you go back to your inductions and go to the very beginning inductions, that'll help you to go back into higher worlds, not
It's just like,
into astral.
yeah. It's
Okay.
just I go to higher goals when I do healings and such, but when I go sleep,
Yes.
because I'm in fear, but I want to stop being in fear, and I
That's
don't
the
know.
fear. The fear will for if you're in fear for any reason, it'll do that.
And
So
how it can.
you're opening a door with the fear. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe even do an induction before going to bed. That will. We
Okay.
can talk about that. You need to set up some safety for yourself.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so
Even just
that,
ask the angels to come in and watch over you, like a prayer.
yeah. No, I've done that, but still, it's happening. So it's very scary to me. It's like, oh my gosh, when I'm doing the healings, I see these angels, beautiful energies, and everything. But then when I go to sleep, since that woman that comment, it's been difficult. It's like, oh, I'm so worried with that. That's why I'm like, now this program is like,
Yes, that comment. I know, and it's interesting how we can take one comment, and you could have 100 great positive comments, and it only
yeah,
takes one negative comment to plant a seed like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's
So, and it is the fear. I mean, it's
totally. Oh, I know, definitely.
yeah.
That's what.
So
But
I need to ask if doing this, I'll just ask if this would be helpful or not, or maybe we need a session together. I wish we had talked about,
right,
it might be better than you doing the class. So let me just check.
thank you.
Um, Seems to me actually the class would be more helpful. I think it's you'd get into an energy field that would be, you know, because you'd have enough of that energy field over the 4 days of the class to help you feel more solid and secure. And you could have a lot of your questions help with those questions that
All
you have.
that, yeah, feel that, I'm sure. Okay, yeah, thank you. Appreciate your time and so, because yeah, it's just beautiful always, except the night. You know, I
Right.
have very,
Yes, and that's your fear. So we can work with that. Okay, I have some other questions here.
sorry.
Is there any type of person that should not do mediumship? So there's a good question right there. So it's actually interesting that the people who are fascinated, the people who have a fascination with dark, you know, with any kind of spirit fascination, it's like the opposite that you might think, like, oh, I always wanted to, I'm really intrigued. I think, you know, that ghosts are intriguing, and you know, you don't want to be intrigued by it. You really want to do it because you want to be of service. You want to do it to help people. If you go in with that other kind of energy, that is the one that will get people actually into trouble. So it shouldn't be because you have a morbid fascination or a fascination with the dark. Those people, and I don't usually think those people are going to be that way. That's why, again, we have people do the channeling class first. And so you're going to be aligned with the light. People who are fascinated with the dark will get in trouble in all these things. I mean, it's just generally it's trouble. Do I need to have an interest? Oh, and mediumship, definitely not if there's any kind of, if you have schizophrenia or something like that, where you're having bleed throughs of the other worlds. That's also, so what we call in our society mental illness, but I would call more of a spiritual illness. But those are not good idea. Do I need to have an interest in connecting with a particular person to take this class? We like, just for a share in the class, if you have someone who you know who has passed over, because then we can get some back and forth. It's also very interesting that you may have grandparents, and it's interesting to actually connect with ancestors. So if you have some names of ancestors, you can actually learn a lot. If you don't have anyone close to you who's passed over, but you'll learn a lot about who you are, who your parents are, who your grandparents are, if you know something about the family lineage and those who have died. So that can be good. People think mediumship is scary. Can you speak to that? Well, people are afraid of ghosts. So this whole idea of ghosts is something that, you know, people get freaked out by. And that is because when you are in a house that has spirits hanging around in it, it doesn't feel good. You know, you have some unresolved energies. So ghosts are unresolved beings. They're beings who haven't gone into the light for whatever reason, and they are in the space. And so sometimes you'll be walking down, you know, like this kind of weird cool breeze, or, you know, at the doorway of the house, you know, feeling weird, or you go and you stand where you wash the dishes, or sometimes where people go to sleep. People's houses are cluttered up very often with ghosts. They don't know it. So I think it's way better because the ghosts are there. It's not like, if you don't learn this, don't worry, there won't be ghosts. Ghosts are already around you. People that are deceased who are unresolved are already there. And this is just learning how to work with them, help them out, and let them go past, let them go beyond. And also to be able to clean up your environment. Like, this mediumship is a really important part of house clearing. So I teach house clearing and maybe even do another class that is just on that. But we actually do it in the master's level in the shamanic Chinese medicine training. So the master's level, we do house clearings, and that requires mediumship because that's a lot of what you're dealing with in people's houses. They can be beings that are there from, anywhere from 1,000 years ago or a couple thousand years ago to very recent. And they affect the energy of a home, and they affect the energy that you are in and what you are living in. And so, sort of like you want to have your eyes closed or your eyes open, and they affect you, but you don't know it. So I don't think there's anything scary. It's interesting. Some of the really very what you would call haunted homes, so homes with a lot of spirits in them, people can be actually pretty comfortable in those homes. They're just kind of used to it, interestingly. So the beings aren't there to scare you. They're just dead people. Sometimes some of them are angry. That's really rare in the dead people that I've come across. Mostly they're just unresolved and just need some help going across. So hope that answers that. I was warned by someone that I should be surrounding myself with white light, etc., before I do anything like this. Any idea of what they are talking about? Well, we should always be surrounding ourselves with white light. So that's another reason why we take the channeling class. You learn to have that real white light with you. You learn to have that energy present with you. That's real white light. It's not, so the channeling, again, the prerequisite. Again, so you know what the higher worlds are. It's really, this whole thing is, it's just not scary. And what you need to have if you're doing this work is probably a helper angels. And helper angels are great to have. Like, pick an archangel. What archangel would you like to have? Michael's always good for this, but the other ones are too. All those angels will be there to help you. So part of this is working with angels. So I think when you're working with angels, like, you don't have to be, I don't know why you'd be afraid. If you have an angel, a big old angel there with you, they're basically the ones. You're just kind of like the go-between. And will we be more attractive to lingering, annoying spirits if you are a medium? And if so, how do you clear them? Okay, so people are afraid that they're going to be having more of these attracted to them. And actually, I think it's the opposite. I haven't had anyone who started doing mediumship who then told me that there were a lot of spirits bothering them. It's usually the other way around. I have people who have a lot of spirits bothering them, who then come and take mediumship and are able to help those beings who've been hanging around them for such a long time to move on. That's actually how I've had it work in the classes. That it's actually the other way around than that. I do a lot of this. I don't ever get, I never get harassed by spirits. Doesn't seem to be in my karma. I think that that's more people who were born with that. Now, if you were born with that and you have a lot of spirits coming to you, then it can be really important to take this class. Again, though, I would have people take the light body class first, because they need to be able to connect to the higher realms, be able to help these people across. So it's kind of little steps in making this work. Thanks for the great questions, Eleanor. I really appreciate your input and your questions, because these are questions that people think about for sure. So there are people who seem to have karma around, around passing people onto the light, karma around having the dead hanging out with them. What I have found is for those people is that they need to do the work of passing people into light. It's just their karma for whatever reason. If they really embrace it, they can become, really awesome mediums and do, bring a lot of light into the world, a lot of healing into the world. There's someone who was in the practitioner training, and she would constantly have these spirits. And the funniest one was that she would have the boyfriend, she would have these boyfriends, and all their dead relatives would show up at her house. And she'd be talking to, like, be around the table. It's like, oh no. Oh yeah, I'm like, Dawn's Uncle Joe. And then she'd be having these conversations with like Uncle Joe and then all these other ones. And it'd be like, I don't even want to get into another relationship because they got all these dead people who show up at my place. And she's like, what do I do with them? And it's really annoying me. But she was also working with horses and animals. She loved to work with horses and animals. And when she got into her true vocation, which is working with animals, especially with horses, and helping horses and horse trainers, and she's a horse whisperer. That's really who she was supposed to be. And that's now she's being who she is, and getting, flown all over the place to work with horses that have problems. So what I find is, if you can go with that, if you can embrace it and see where it takes you, and, that could change your whole life. So these things don't come to us as punishments. Okay, so thank you. Her partners took her home to meet the whole family. Sounds like Allie. Yes, that was definitely Allie. I know. That was always like, but she's doing so great. Yes. So next question, do you think that actually doing mediumship, that the fear can go away because it is not so unknown anymore? Yeah, I think so. And then, yes, like shining the light. It's like, we're going to bring the light in here, and you just dispel all that idea. The fear is all the dark side, and fear is always a lie. It's one thing you can be sure of. Fear is this whole energy that is sucked away from you when nothing's actually happened. There's it sucks your life away, but what happened? Nothing. You're still fine. It's all an idea thing. And when something does happen, we deal with it. And so in this case, you're learning how you would deal with it. So what happens if a ghost shows up here? This is exactly what you do. You just work with it like this. And it's wonderful and beautiful. And you have an amazing feeling when beings pass on to the light. There's always a blessing that comes back to you. So you are sort of showered with divine light for having done the work. So it's great. Next one, what is the structure of the course? Will we be working with each other or on our own? Oh, yes, you'll be working with each other. This is much more kind of group oriented than the channeling class. We have some processes that we go through that are more kind of one-on-one. But a lot of it we do as a group, even the whole group together, where we will be putting input in and then moving into other groups. So it's a lot of group work with this. So you're never just doing it on your own. You're not, none of it will be on your own, other than the fact that you are on your own in your home with your computer that you're talking to. But that's an illusion. That part's the illusion. The reality is that we're all connected, that we're all one, and that we're all sharing an experience. And the classes, because I teach, I've taught the the light body class online for years, and had a lot of online experience. That this stuff translates really well into that we can do this spiritual kind of work, and that the energies set up very well at a distance. So you'll feel the energies, just like you can feel the meditations. Of course, it has, we have meditations in this, we have processes in this that we will be doing. And if you want to do it, you have a question? Yes, you can ask a question.
Yeah, oh, yes. I know, I was wondering, will we be able to know, my parents passed away a long time ago, so
Yeah.
we will be able to know kind of like if they pass to the light and help them out to, if not,
yes.
like,
well, that's just a yes.
Oh, that's just a yes. Okay, great.
That's just a yes. We will.
We will. Okay, great. And also, we will be able to ask questions about, because I'm, as I was mentioning about the beer thing, that it seems, my husband, what I was mentioning about the eyes. So let me put it this way: is that okay? Can I ask to release from the beer entities, or if I bring the light on the beer, because it seems then is that okay? Stuff like that.
That's a slightly different process. There's a process for that. It's we can talk about, we will see how much we get into it. Usually we will end up doing some entity clearing. That's usually more in the shamanic Chinese medicine, but some of the times when you're clearing off beings, sending them to the light, it's also a matter of clearing, the other entities that are attached to them.
Okay, so that's another kind of theme.
Yes, it's another kind of thing. It's not exactly
okay.
the same kind of thing.
But it's not a bad thing to do. If I don't know how to do it, simply just, I say, bring the light and just send them out away.
Well, then okay? Perfect.
Is that okay?
Call on Archangel Michael. That's his specialty.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Andy? Yes, and you don't have to learn about angels before taking the class. No. Yes,
Wendy,
Connie?
if I wanted to ask a question of my husband's father, who has passed a long time ago, would we be able to do it in this class?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. If you have signed up for the class, you already have a little bit of information that I sent out. So that might be the name that you would use, the person that you would use, and have the whole, and we do that because you're going to be working in a group with that. So that'd be part of the group processes that we do.
Is there going to be a chance to do more than one person?
Yes, because yes, there will be. Yes. Yep. Okay. And angels, those are the Shenling. So the spirit, celestial spirits. There's a lot of ways of describing them. They show up in all different cultures. But basically, there's light beings. Let's see. Is there a PDF that needs to be printed out? Yes, there is a PDF that we printed out for the class. Yeah. It's not the same as it's not like there's a workbook sheet. So, but still you want to have this printed out and read it. So, yes. Is it more difficult to converse with beings we knew than those that we do not? I would say easier to converse with those that you don't know. Those that we know, again, we can get our emotions in there, we can get our beliefs in there, we can have this feeling of guilt and, oh, are they blaming me for this or that? So often it's easier, just like channeling, to work on somebody else's and bring the messages through from for those, you know, other people who have passed over than it is for getting messages from those who are close to us. But on the other hand, we can learn to get messages from those who are close to us, who have passed over. And then we can create a really great, you know, bridge into the other world. Okay.
Do you
So,
mean that, sorry, do you mean those people we might be able to talk to them ongoingly?
yes,
Hmm.
yes,
But that
absolutely.
doesn't happen all the time, I imagine.
Um, um, it can, if you want to cultivate a relationship with somebody on the other side, you can totally cultivate that relationship. That's up to you. It's just a matter of taking the time and you know, and connecting to them regularly.
They're a different kind of a spirit than the ones that we channel, the higher realm. Eh? These are, how do we differentiate?
Yes, well, if it's not someone who is close to you, I wouldn't think you'd especially be wanting to cultivate a relationship. If you've lost, you know, if you've lost a husband, if you've lost a child, or a wife, or someone, you know, really dear to you in your life, and you are always being plagued with this loss, you can get a relationship going with someone. So that you have that ability
I guess I
to
was
connect to
thinking,
them.
oh, sorry, I was thinking about, you know, asking them what it's like up there, sort of thing, right? So, I mean, they would be probably on a different plane than the ones that were.
Yes, you could probably, you know, you can do that. Yeah. It may have, doing that, you know, it would be something perhaps about what is the purpose that you have in, you know, in doing this. So what is your, what is the purpose? Curiosity is never a good purpose in these worlds. It's because you never know what you attract with curiosity.
Mm.
It needs to have a larger purpose that's connected to bringing light into the world. So even the fact, you know, someone going in just with curiosity, it needs to have purpose. I'm very careful when I ask beings questions. It has to apply to something. It has to apply to something, and not just be curious, because curiosity is just it will. There's times when curiosity is great, and in those realms it's not great. So we want to be very clean when we're working in those worlds. So those are good questions. Okay, Bob wants to know the cost. It's $250, and it's 4 days. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So just half days, 9:30 until 1, so we don't get zoomed out. Oh, okay, so I'm going to bring in the angels for a little channeling now.
Wendy, I'll quietly leave at 25 after 7.
Okay, well, lovely to have you with us.
Bye, Megan. Bye.
And we'll see you Thursday.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, gonna put on some background here. Moment. Here we go. And welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your interest. This is the time and place for curiosity. It's excellent to come here and ask questions. For indeed, you live in many realms at the same time. And your eyes are open and they see the solid three-dimensional world around you. However, that is not the only world that you are living in. You are living in multiple dimensions at the same time. And so it is important that you become aware of these other worlds and know that there is nothing to fear here. Or as was said earlier, it is only the fear that will draw in the darker energies. And so there's a great need in your world to assist humanity, to assist the living, and to assist those who have crossed over. And it is a very compassionate undertaking to choose to do this work. For indeed, you can relieve the suffering of beings who have been caught in other worlds. Well, in a version of this world that they are in, this world that's not in the same way as you are in this world. And they may have been trapped for a very long time. And you have the ability to relieve them, release them from their suffering. And this is a great service. And it is a way to bring more light into your world. Or this world has these other sort of, you could say, shadowy realms that are here at the same time that you are living in. And it is a wonderful thing to clear these and allow more light into your life and more light into the lives of those around you as you do this work. Good. And so you're now connecting with the beings of light that you might be calling angels, and indeed there are angelic beings here. And feeling the presence now, the shift of energy as these angels are coming to be with you. Good. Allowing yourself to take in these great presences. For indeed, they would have you work with them. Good, and we are the beings of the Angelic Realm. And I am the angel of light who works with Wendy and along with many other angelic beings and the great archangels. We are here to assist and to release these souls with your help, with your assistance. For they are so often asleep, they are so often stuck in the darkness. And with your help, they can be awakened and they can be assisted in crossing over. And we are here to work with you in that process. So if you are so moved, we would welcome you to work with us. And we thank you for coming and for your consideration. Blessings to you. Okay. Okay, so yes, a question here. If I just finished the channeling class, you have any reservation? No, that's totally fine. You are welcome to join. So any other questions there?
I'm just wondering, when we were doing the meditation just now, I'm wondering why the people who are stuck aren't helped by those in the higher realms.
They're not allowed. They have to reach up to the light.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one of the laws. The law is that one has to reach towards the light. Even children.
Wow.
Yeah. Often at the dead children, you'll find that they have a belief that they were bad, that they've been told that they were bad. So they were stuck in a belief that they couldn't go to heaven because they'd done bad things. And afraid, many being afraid. Just afraid of making that connection because they're afraid they're going to go to hell. So, we do live in a world where that was a setup. And also there are sometimes more, Native people or Aboriginal people who are stuck because they believe that it requires their people to help them across, or their particular gods. There's all different reasons why people get stuck. And often it's people are punishing themselves that they thought that they lived their lives badly, that they had done something, something wrong. That they've been evil, therefore they don't have the right to go across. So there's a lot of reasons why they get stuck, and we can help. And it doesn't take long to have the light come in and connect them up and have them go across.
Once they're across, then they can be welcomed, I'm imagining.
Well, that is when they go across, when they're welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I say they go across, I mean that's the transition happens. It's pretty palpable when beings go into the light. You feel the energy shift. Okay. Yes, Esperanza.
Yes. Two things. One, did you say, or the angel said, if you are moved, come to the class? Is that what you said?
Yes.
I just wondered because it made me cry like crazy, which is the biggest sign for me to do something when I cry. So I just want to make sure that's what the angel said, or you guys said, if you are moved, that was the sentence you said?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just checking that. And then, okay, all right. And then, thank you. And then another thing is, one thing that I've been concerned also with the mediumship is the fact it's very easy for me to go up, and so then I'm not very grounded. So when we do mediumship, then are we gonna go up a lot, or do we also ground too?
We'll ground too. Yes.
So it's okay. So basically, it's just what I heard from other places that if you
yes, it's not up. It's not up so much as we do going into channeling. Channeling's more up than that.
Oh, really? Okay. So we also ground and all that stuff. Yeah. That's grounding too.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Good questions. Thank you.
Interesting.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so that's a good question. Yeah, people who have passed choose to stay here. So we think of karma as being something that gets, sent down from you from above somewhere, but karma is actually that these beings actually punish themselves. It's like done something terrible, and sometimes they're here for 100 years, and you can tell them, look, you've given yourself a sentence here. You did something bad, but you've been here 100 years or 200 years sometimes. And it's okay now. I think that if, let's look at this. That's a long time. And are you ready? And the very fact that you've stayed here punishing yourself for 100 years says how good you are. Says that inside of there's a being who knows, right and wrong, a being that has virtue, a being that loves and is of high integrity, and just really talks, that you actually have high integrity. And so that way, that's just another way that beings get passed on when they're stuck like that.
Wendy.
Yes.
Would you mind to say, like, the benefits, some of the benefits has been for you to do mediumship?
Benefits?
Yes.
Benefits is about being of service, but it's also the benefit of having your house clear of spirits. And when you go into a hotel, that you can clear the room of spirits, or what's going on when there's, when it's happening around you. You're not in the dark. You actually have your eyes open. But mostly, I like the idea of people doing this who want to be of service in that way. That you want to be helpful. You want to know how to do this. And people's suffering, is so big. That's such a huge thing to lose someone and to not know if you did the right thing, if you said the right thing, if someone was angry with you, so people hang on to that, and they'll like whip themselves daily thinking that they should have been in the room when their mother died and they weren't there. So it's a huge healer to be able to bring messages through.
So just to be clear, I don't have any problem with the idea of helping people go over and being of service, but I did hope that I would be able to connect with some loved ones who have passed over. I wasn't really sure what it was all about. Is that going to
Yeah.
be something that happens as well, or is that something I'd have to do later?
Well, at some point we're going to be having, it'll either be there'll be like there'll be part of groups that you'll be a part of, and then you'll have those opportunities to do that.
So it won't
make those
happen this
connections.
weekend.
What's that?
So it won't happen this weekend.
Yes. Yes, I'm talking about this weekend.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's part of learning. Bring your dead people you want to connect to. We need some, that's what we, yeah. That's a good thing.
And it
Sort of like
it
channeling,
doesn't
bring
how
your
many years
issues.
it's like
In this, you bring your
my
dead
mom
people.
died when oops, sorry.
What's that?
It doesn't matter how many years, like my mom died 30 years ago. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all.
Still they can communicate. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because do you think, like, for example, for me, it's easy to see angels, guides, and all that stuff. However, my mom, I never see her. So do you think could be because there's a blockage?
I don't know. I can't say
Could
right off
be.
the top of my head.
No, right. But is a possibility the fact that because sometimes it seems that I've seen my husband's father, but then my
Oh.
mom.
That's what I said. It's the hardest to see the ones that you're closest to. That is how that works. It's just like channeling for yourself. Always hard to channel for yourself. Always hardest to see the people and connect to the people who you're closest to.
Oh.
Yeah. Same deal.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. But you have the opportunity for other people to connect to them and bring through messages for you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it won't happen, right? That is to say, I have the same thing with Esperanza, I guess.
Oh, yeah, but you have other people who can connect to them and help you to connect with them. So that's what we're doing.
I
We're
see.
helping you to connect.
Mhm.
And you ideally you can connect with them.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I hope that was helpful.
Very helpful.
Great.
Very helpful.
Great.
Yes.
I have an idea of what this is.
Yes. And in terms of the computer, I mean, sometimes it gets like stuck. So will we be able to record or something, because sometimes it gets freeze stuck with the computer?
Okay, so your internet connection gets stuck.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
That's I mean, my computer is,
it's a little tricky to record. If Mario's willing to edit. Mario's willing to edit, so because we can't have all the personal information in there.
Yeah, definitely. I can edit.
So we can edit the class, but we don't record the personal stuff. Or we do record it, but we don't ever post that. We kind of toss that. We edit that out and have and keep the non-personal. I mean, you can record. If you have a way of recording on your computer yourself, you could record your stuff if you wanted. Like people brought to the last channeling class, people brought phones and recorded for themselves when they were involved in that, so they could keep that information.
See.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And hopefully we'll see some of you at the class.
anything that you think for preparing for the class? So if we want to take it, anything that you recommend?
I send out, if people sign up, I send them some information to read through.
I never got it. I didn't even got it. There was like last week about the channeling, the other channeling.